Hello, I'm Allison Johnson for Windsor Regional Hospital. Have you ever been stuck waiting in emergency? You've already been seen by a physician, already been told you're being admitted, but you still have to wait hours and sometimes possibly a full day to get into a hospital bed? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and reveal a juggling act that's happening throughout the hospital, trying to get you from emergency up into your bed. This is where the decisions are made. It's a control center where staff track every single hospital bed and every patient.
What do you got for me?
4 North is still the 2 possibles, and 7C is a possible transfer to Leamington. So we have those.
I am Leanne Kane. I'm an admitting clerk at Windsor Regional Hospital. So we kind of finesse and move people around to try and get your patient bed empty so that you're not waiting in emerge longer than needed to be.
The process starts with a fax, identifying a patient in emergency who needs a bed. Now, if there's a bed available and the room is clean, end of story. But
it doesn't happen very often. Sometimes we don't have beds for them, so it's a matter of waiting out for doctors to go to the floor and make the discharges for the patients, for us to get these patients up from emerge. So it could take several hours, or it could be an overnight stay waiting in emerge for beds to be available for them.
every time a patient gets moved from a room, staff then have to come in and clean the room before the next patient can move in. A terminal clean, to kill any germs and prevent the spread of infections, that can take up to 3 hours. Even if there is an empty bed in the hospital, that doesn't mean it's the right fit for every patient. For example, I'm waiting in emergency right now for a bed, and the only bed available in the hospital right now already has a male patient in the next bed.
What we try to do is try to move that male into another bed so that we can open up the female bed for that patient that's waiting in emerge.
But that only works if there's a place for the displaced male to go.
A lot of times we might not be able to do that. There might not be any open beds to be able to move that male out of that room.
So they want to make sure that I'm sharing the room with another woman. And according to the expert on infection control here, they're also making sure they don't put me with a roommate who has the potential to make me sicker than I already am.
During flu season, it's even more of a juggling act. So we have to make sure that we have patients with the same type of symptoms. If they're being admitted with respiratory symptoms that might indicate flu, we want to make sure they go into a room with a patient with similar symptoms so that we're preventing that spread to any other new patients that we might have.
So if I have an infection and require additional precautions, I'll probably get my own room. If there are no private rooms available, I can go into a semi-private room, but that means the other bed is blocked and other patients can't use it, unless they happen to have a similar infection, and only if the other patient is a female. When new hospitals are built in Ontario today, 80% of the rooms must be private. At Windsor Regional Hospital, we're well below that target. If you're lucky enough to get a private room here, you're probably too sick to appreciate it. So even if you have the best coverage possible and you're feeling really awful and your roommate is keeping you up all night snoring, you can ask for that private room, but it isn't likely. Recently, I had the opportunity to visit some new hospitals in Ontario with 80% private rooms. Without question, they say this feature makes the admitting process a lot smoother.
You can have a patient here in ED who develops or comes in with an infection that we need to put in additional precautions. And it enables us to place them in that room right away rather than cohorting them very closely to other patients.
This makes admitting safer and easier, but what about those who aren't covered for private rooms? Well, these new hospitals still offer shared accommodations in about 20% of the rooms, and if none of those are available, the patients will get a free upgrade. Erika Vitale looks forward to the day she can offer patients at Windsor Regional that same luxury, maybe even better.
Allison, if we had 100% private rooms, you would be in a room already. You wouldn't have to worry about you sharing a room with someone with similar symptoms or not putting you in a room with someone who's infectious.
Bed 1 is in isolation.
Oh,
Sounds pretty good to those in admitting as well, who are also looking forward to a new hospital with more private rooms.
I can't wait for it to come. I certainly hope it comes faster than 10 years to help the community and help us as clerks here in the hospital.
But until that day comes, workers here will keep juggling to make sure you get where you need to be as quickly as possible.